Hey everyone, I am Andy with Cartograph. I'm excited for streamlining your building and utility infrastructure operations to get started here. Just a quick heads up that you can use the chat and the Q&A to share your thoughts and questions during the session. I will try to get all of those at the end. These sessions are being recorded and we'll make those available after the conference so you can catch anything you missed. So with that out of the way, I'd now like to introduce John Young, the Director of GIS and Asset Management at Patrick Engineering. He has over 20 years of GIS and asset management experience under his belt and is focused on delivering streamlined solutions for building and facility operations, as well as growing the next generation of asset management tech professionals. So thanks for joining us, John.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Andy. It's a pleasure to be here. And, like I said, we're excited. We're excited to be here and provide our continued support of CartaCon as a CartaCon sponsor. And I will say, too, good afternoon to everyone that's here. As Andy mentioned, I am John Young with Patrick Engineering. And as a Cartograph partner, we are focused on providing Cartograph solutions and services that are designed to streamline your operations for your buildings and your utility infrastructure. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into the presentation. And I think you guys are going to enjoy what I have in store for you here today. Okay, so just a quick recap on Patrick or a quick introduction. Obviously, you can go to our website, patrickco.com or patrickengineering.com. But Patrick's been around since 1979. We are a full service firm. We do a lot of engineering and design, as well as construction, management services, and also have a large technology services arm to which I'm a part, as well as our team, and kind of cover the gamut of a lot of infrastructure, as well as buildings and facilities, technology solutions. And we're going to run through a number of those today, and specifically those that pertain to Cartograph and its use for operations management. I'll start by saying we have some amazing customers and partners. This is just a small set of the organizations that we in the GIS and Asset Management division work with to provide a broad range of operations management technologies and services. That said, we do believe in focused approach, which means we work with a trusted set of technology and service partners. We've been a Cartograph partner for over 3 years now. We have been an Esri business partner for Esri ArcGIS for over 20 years. And we also have worked in close partnership with Endorvu for about 5 years. And I'll mention several of these customers that we work with, as well as partners throughout the course of my talk. And I think the most important thing here, obviously, is that Patrick and Cartograph have a very strong partnership. And so while we've been a partner for 3 years, our dedicated teams of professionals have worked together for a number of years. And so that relationship, I think last year at CartaCon, I mentioned, was a 15-year-old relationship. It's a 16-year-old relationship, at this point. And that's specifically with the Cartograph buildings and infrastructure team. So we've worked very closely together. And what I will say in working with these folks over the years is that I know this for sure. We're both very passionate about delivering valuable solutions and building long-lasting relationships with our clients. All right, so as most of you know, Cartograph is built for a number of different assets. Obviously, this is a collection of them right here. And at Patrick, we are focused on Cartograph solutions for gas utilities and your building facilities. So your building facilities and the infrastructure that directly supports them. And I will say that we are also growing our support over the course in the next year for not only gas utilities and facilities, but also transportation and parks and recreation assets. We have a number of asset management professionals that we've brought on board, and we continue to bring on board that support each of these different asset categories. I'll note that in addition to having GIS and asset management professionals, though, we also do have a broad collection of engineers that actually conduct the inspections and do assessments of these assets, so that when we pull this information into Cartograph, it is the best available and it's ready for you to begin your operations management with Cartograph. All right, and so we will focus today on facilities, so building, space, and assets and solutions there. We'll focus on gas as well, but just noting that we do work and focus on transportation assets, as well as electric and telecom. And over the course of getting into next year and the year following, we will be expanding our support for Cartograph in these areas too. All right, so I think when you look at the learning outcomes for today, we wanted to make sure that we gave you some really solid takeaways. And the first thing is on our approach. And our approach, especially working with Cartograph, has been maturing and developing over the course of 3 years now. And one thing, and so I'll go through this approach, all 3 steps, from field collection and assessment to digital twin, data enablement and integrations, and then lastly, really the setup and the enablement of those very helpful end user apps that Cartograph provides the various operations stakeholders. So in the first part, we actually utilize intelligent 360 imagery collection for asset inventory. This also aids our condition assessments, as well as our engineers who we have and are specialized in a variety of asset domains. We then move into digital twin extraction, so the 2D and 3D versions of the data, so whether that be buildings or outside linear assets, what have you. But our approach means, because of the approach that and the tools that we use, that all the data that are collected are geo-enabled, or they're location-based. And so this helps us actually streamline the enablement of your data directly into a GIS format, specifically ArcGIS, which then helps us very easily integrate directly with Cartograph, so that you're mission ready from the moment your data hits the Cartograph solution. And then lastly, we our asset management consultants that are specialized in your different asset domains work directly with either the Cartograph implementation team, or our implementation team, and or the customer success team if you're already a Cartograph user, to ensure that your team is properly trained and ready to actively use Cartograph OMS and other Cartograph end user engagement apps. All right, so that's a little bit of a high level. Let's take a look at what that actually looks like. So over here on the far, for number 1, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So here we're talking about getting out in the field, collecting the data, whether it's outdoor or indoor, above ground, below ground, then organizing that information, right? In other words, we want to be able to enable the data, but do it in such a way that is fundamentally or foundationally location aware. We utilize ArcGIS to do this. And so we can utilize your existing ArcGIS. And then we make that direct bridge and migration with Cartograph. Sometimes we're taking advantage of some existing data sources. Obviously, a lot of this can be QA/QC checked and made repeatable and automated. But then the real where the rubber hits the road, right, is enabling a number of the very valuable end user reporting and engagement apps. And that's that third step that I talked about. And if we just run through a quick example of what that looks like, here we are in the field, whether we're inside the building, whether we're on the rooftop, whether we're outside the building, all the data being collected are, again, seamless. We're using our 360 imagery cameras. Again, it's all natively location aware. So whether we transition indoor, outdoor, we're able to seamlessly capture this information, which helps us then, of course, extract in the next step our digital twins. And so then once we have our digital twins, we pull them into a couple of different, we enable a couple of different formats. So whether it's, pulling it together in GIS, enabling the 360 imagery if you want it, and then that fits the data schema, which ports directly into Cartograph, right? So now we have our set of Cartograph applications that we then wire up for the your specific operational use. And the thing that when we're enabling these different end user apps, the one thing I will say is mobility is definitely key. I'm going to say more about that in just a second. So that includes, lighting up Cartograph One as an app, and also taking advantage of being able to scan barcodes, right? So in other words, you want to be able to utilize these tools whether you're in the office or whether you're in the field, and our solutions do just that for you. All right, so field mobility apps and training for today's operators and trade staff is a key part of our services and our service offering. With Cartograph One, you may or may not know, if you're not using it already, whether you're outside or whether you're indoors, okay, work order location tracking is an inherent part of the system. And along with the nice thing about Cartograph One is it actually provides optimized routing. So what we're talking about is dynamically organizing, and in many cases, reorganizing your work orders based on proximity of those work orders to each other, as well as the time it actually takes to respond to a work order. And this, this includes taking advantage of Cartograph One's native ability to scan barcodes and QR codes, such as I showed in the last slide, which helps you easily identify your assets or issue a service request while actively, in the field. Again, supporting the whole office to field workflow with a variety of very helpful apps, including ones, on your smartphone or on your tablet. Okay, so for today, in addition to our approach, I want to make sure I cover our high-level approach, which is very much streamlined to be able to pull data from the moment we collect it into a Cartograph asset domain. One of those asset domains is facilities or buildings. So we definitely specialize in that area. So from digital twin to the inventory to the assessment to operations management, this is this is definitely an area that we specialize in. Our consultants have worked for and with Esri to bring GIS support for buildings, as well as what is today's GIS indoors. A lot of us actually have worked on that for a number of years to where it's currently at today. But what we do, right, is we marry together our skill sets here with our skill sets in managing and operating facilities, spaces, and assets, and that's what culminates in the solutions that we offer today. A take-home message here for sure is that with our team being made up of GIS as well as asset management professionals, we are uniquely positioned to streamline the process of operationalizing your asset inventory in its current state condition, so that day one of go live with Cartograph, you are ready to rock and roll with the technology. And then in support of this mission, right, we know it takes some of the best and brightest in the business to offer world-class solutions. And so this is why we're adding recognized leaders who have lived the owner-operator role and managed large programs and teams of operational IT professionals for both municipalities and higher ed institutions. We were absolutely thrilled back at the beginning of this year to add Mike Parkin to our team, who, of course, some may or may not know, but he spent a good bit of time with both MIT and as well as Harvard before joining Patrick. And then, you guys are going to hear from John Cox from North Carolina a little bit later today, so don't want to steal any thunder there, but we do work with North Carolina, have for a number of years. So when it comes to, some of our existing clients that I mentioned, I would say a little bit about, whether it's large statewide portfolios and helping North Carolina stand up the next generation of their statewide real property portfolio management system, taking advantage of a number of Cartograph products, or whether it's working with municipalities like the city of Lakewood, where they were already an existing Cartograph user before they started pulling facilities in. We started working with them about 3 years ago, and now we're working to operationalize a rather large portfolio of both civic and recreational facilities. We've been adding to that progressively over time. We've been working on some here in the middle of the year, and now we're getting ready to take on some other ones here as we move into the fall. And again, just a great use of Cartograph for facilities, and utilizing both OMS and also Cartograph One, as well as the barcoding capability that we talked about a little bit earlier. All right, so in addition to buildings, and I know in the interest of time here, we only have so much time, but we wanted to also highlight our gas solutions. And so Patrick, has well over 100 engineers and technologists and folks that work in the gas field and industry. And we've actually utilized and married, if you will, all this expertise to bring 3 different solutions to market: FieldView, OpsView, and TrueView. They're all designed to help folks in the gas industry generate value, solve a number of challenges, and make good decisions. And so OpsView is the one that we want to focus on today, because that is our solution that is powered by Cartograph. And so our Cartograph for gas utility solutions, or OpsView, right? make sure I have my talking point in mind here. It was specifically designed with municipal energy providers with that serve roughly about 250,000 customers or less. We know that historically, paper and CAD formats have really been the one to use, and sometimes it has to do with the price point of the solution. We've made this one very attractive and easy for folks that have 250,000 or less customers to procure. The OpsView solution is powered by Cartograph, and it's designed to integrate with Esri ArcGIS, as well as take advantage of the ArcGIS utility network. The gas utility, or OpsView, fundamentally, provides and supports the gas utility asset domain for Cartograph. So that's engineered and designed and built by the Patrick team. And it's designed to manage your gas assets and utilize the Cartograph operations management tools. And you can see some of those specific assets here. From valve inspections to new installations to repairs and a number of other work tasks. These tasks come with the OpsView offering. This is just one example here. And whether conditions of assets by category in capital forecasting or monitoring compliance tasks and reporting, our experts work with you to enable scenarios, right? Using scenario builders and dashboards to quickly access your valuable gas asset and operations information. And in fact, in addition to setting up the gas asset domain and the common work task, we also offer Cartograph support for a set of focused workflow and training packages. Our engineering and technology professionals guide you through the process from initial setup and support for your organization's needs to active training and use both in the office and in the field. We recognize that compliance and gas regulations are key here. I've listed only a few of the workflows supported in each package, and I encourage you to connect with us to learn about the full range of options we provide. I will say lastly that OpsView does support capital planning with Cartograph Scenario Builder for high priority forecasting, for main and service line replacements, as well as a number of system-wide improvements. And with that, this has been a pretty quick fly through. It's about what you get in 18 minutes, but it's been a pleasure to meet with you all today. I will say, visit us at any one of our websites. We also have some videos at our solutions page. You can learn more there. And you can also learn more at our booth. We're going to be here for the next, for today. And I think as we move into the next couple of days, I encourage you to drop by, let us learn more about your story. We'd love to hear from you. My contact information is here as well. And with that, I'll turn it over, Andy, to see if we have any questions.
Thanks, John. I didn't see any questions come in, but yeah, thank you for attending the session, everyone. And thank you, John, for sharing your expertise with us today. If you do have any questions for John, again, yeah, go check out Patrick's virtual booth through that exhibitors tab in the Cartocon portal. And with that, we have a brief break. The next sessions will be starting up at 1:50 here. You can get to them again through the Cartocon event portal, or you can queue it up through the message that is now in the chat. So yeah, thanks everybody.
Fantastic. Happy to join you guys today.